One of the most important lessons I've learned in life from reading books, having conversations with successful entrepreneurs and interviewing smart people is that in this world, questions are more important than answers. But you know what? That goes against our education system that rewards students that offers the right answers than those who ask the right questions, which is totally the opposite in real life. In real life, those who advance are those who ask the right questions and not those who seek for answers. You know, Voltaire, the great French philosopher, once said, and I quote, "Judge a man by his questions rather than his answers." Did you know that asking the right questions at the right time can spark the right answers that changes your life? You know, in this world, everyone is seeking for answers. Only few people are asking questions. Those who are asking questions, and most of them are asking the wrong questions. And this is a fact of life. If you ask the wrong questions, you keep on getting the wrong answers. And sometimes even those who are asking the right questions, they start asking the right questions too late. If I may ask, are there questions in your personal life right now, in your career or in your business ventures that you should be asking that you are not asking yet? Will you one day start asking the right questions late? I was told the right questions asked late are not different from the wrong questions. You know, sometimes in life, we go through life unhappy and so affected negatively by many things. But my advice to you tonight is this: if something is wrong with your life, acknowledge it quickly and then find a solution about it. A timeless question that haunts all of us is this one: how do we achieve our most coveted aspirations in life? You see, the road to our dreams is a journey that is twisted and complicated. But then the timeless question is this: how do you achieve your most coveted aspirations in life? What kind of questions, what set of questions do you need to start asking in order for you to achieve your most coveted aspirations in life? Welcome to Be Inspired with Pepe Minambo. Another exciting episode tonight that challenges and inspires and nurtures us to be everything we have the capability of becoming. Before going further, I would like to thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible and for enabling us to come to your homes every Tuesday night. I'd like to thank Pepsi Max and Centenary Bank, our bank, and Lake Victoria Serena Golf Resort and Spa. Tonight, we are starting a new series of conversations. You know what? The World Economic Forum, this global body that brings together thought leaders, captains of industries, government leaders, scientists and scholars, people that gather to discuss economic foresight of our globe. Years back, they came up with what they call the top 10 skills of 2025. According to the World Economic Forum, between now and the year 2025, for anyone aspirational, ambitious, who would like to go forward, go ahead, either in their career, in their entrepreneurship, or business ventures or investment, there are 10 top skills that they will need to acquire. So tonight, we are starting on the series on the top 10 skills of 2025 according to the World Economic Forum. But before we start in our new series, I'd like to do a bit of recap on what we talked about last week as we concluded the series on career growth and personal development. I asked a question, and my question was as follows: is your job too small for you? Now, to support that question, I'd like to recommend a book to you. And the book is titled, Is This Place Too Small for Me? By Herman Bentzewitz. You can find this book online. I know it is our tradition on this show to do a book review at the end of the show, but today I'll just make a recommendation of this particular book. Is This Place Too Small for Me? You know, a lot of people in their business and career are punching far below their potential. They have so big potential but chosen to settle in very small places. Squeezed, frustrated, suffocating, stressed up, and wondering what's wrong with their job or what's wrong with their line of business. Nothing wrong with the job, nothing wrong with the line of business. Sometimes when you settle for too far less, those are the consequences. Is your job too small for you? Is your business too small for you? Is Uganda too small for you? Is East Africa small for you? Is Africa too small for you? You know, I met one time a woman who shared with me a very interesting story. She told me she had this migraine that was unforgiving. The husband took her to all the specialized hospitals, but the migraine would not leave her head until she was advised to go and see a psychiatrist. Upon meeting the psychiatrist had few questions to ask her. The psychiatrist asked her, tell me about your life. And she started saying, look here, I'm an educationist. I own a nursery school and I own a primary school. And the psychiatrist says, so what was your blueprint? What was your vision when you started your business? She said, well, my daughter was very small. I say, I will start a nursery school. After my daughter graduates from nursery school, I will start a primary school. After she graduates from primary school, I will start a secondary school. The doctor asked her, is your daughter now in secondary school? She said, yes. And then he asked her, is that school yours? She said, no. He said, well, after my daughter graduated from primary school, I didn't continue with the secondary school idea. So my daughter went to another school from some other places. And the doctor looked at her and said, maybe that could be the issue you are having here. You had a big dream. You had a big potential, but you settle for less. That's why, you know, when you are in a small place, you feel squeezed, you feel suffocated. You feel really stressed up, you feel really frustrated, and this could be the source of all the pain you're having in your head. Now, the lady told me, Pepe, to cut a long story short, she went back home and started planning to start a secondary school, and the migraine left her for good. What is the moral of the story here? It is simple. Some of our pain, our frustrations, our stress, could be just for the simple reason, for the simple fact that we got this so much potential in us, but you have settled for less. The space is too small for you. The job is too small for you. The business venture is too small for you because your potential has no room to express itself fully. As I always say, what is potential? Potential is hidden strength. Potential is dormant ability. Potential is unused success. Potential is who you are that you haven't yet been. Potential is how far you can go that you haven't yet gone. Potential is how much you can do that you haven't yet done. Now, if that potential is not given enough room and latitude, that potential can build up pressure in your heart, in your soul, and in your head. So the challenge is this place too small for me? Is this place too small for you? We will be right back.
Hey, wanna race?
I will love you. You wish.
The Santa story started when we opened our doors nearly 40 years ago. With our roots deeply placed in the Catholic Church, we set out with the sole purpose of being the best provider of financial services in a sustainable manner, especially microfinance, to all people, particularly in rural areas. Over the years, we've grown into Uganda's biggest and fastest growing bank, with an asset base of 5.5 trillion, serving over 2.4 million customers and businesses in agriculture, microfinance sector, SMEs, women, youth and corporate segments. On our quest to drive financial inclusion, we've taken our bank closer to our customers with over 80 branches across the country and multiple banking channels, including over 6,000 agents, Center Mobile Banking, Center Online Banking, Center Visa Debit and Prepaid Cards, and MasterCard Platinum Debit Card. 2.4 million have written our story of becoming Uganda's biggest and fastest growing bank. The story continues.
Centenary Bank.
Centenary Bank is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Up to 10 million. Terms and conditions apply.
Centenary Bank is a member of the Center Group.
Enjoy the beautiful game of golf for leisure or competition at the beautiful Lake Victoria Serena Golf Resort and Spa. It's a hole-in-one from our world-class clubhouse with a first-of-its-kind pro shop to the right people on ground to make your golfing experience a classy affair. As you putt, drive and ace on the banks of Lake Victoria, this is Uganda's finest championship golf course.
Welcome back from the break. The first of the top 10 skills of 2025 according to the World Economic Forum is analytical thinking and innovation. What is thinking? Thinking is the process of considering or reasoning about something. Thinking is the action of using one's mind to produce thoughts. Synonyms of thinking are words like contemplation, reflection, meditation, consciousness, and retrospection. I'll tell you, life is full of hardships, but there is nothing harder in life than to think. Well, manual labor is hard. People working in farms, in construction site, it is hard labor. But there is nothing harder in life than to think. No wonder most people do not think. They choose the easy path. They rather wake up in the morning, do all the chores. They rather even work or walk for 2 to 3 hours going to work than to sit down and think. In most of my forums, I tell people, in this world, only 5% of people think. 15% think that they are thinking, and 80% do not think at all. And that's the truth, because thinking is hard. But what triggers analytical thinking? It's triggered by curiosity. You have to be inquisitive before you become analytical. No wonder Simon Sinek wrote a book titled Leaders Start with the Why. And John Maxwell also wrote a book titled Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. In the book he says, good questions inform, but great questions transform. When you start asking critical, analytical, great questions, they bring about transformations. And there are questions that you should be asking, as I said earlier, that you haven't yet started asking. So, to be analytical, you must be inquisitive. To be analytical, you have to ask questions. And let me tell you, with the emergence of artificial intelligence, robotic automation, the Internet of Things, and augmented reality, according to the World Economic Forum, for you to remain relevant, be competitive, and stand out, the first skill you need as a career person, as an entrepreneur, as an investor, as a scientist, as a social worker, is analytical thinking and innovation. I came across a very interesting quote by Bill Gates when he said, "I like hiring lazy people because lazy people will always find an easy way to make a hard task possible." And I went further reflecting and saying, wait a minute, do you know that things like washing machines were invented by lazy people? Because they couldn't figure out sitting down and doing laundry for about 2, 3, 4 hours. They became analytical and asked questions if there could be a gadget or a machine that could process this kind of work while they were doing something more meaningful, and the rest is history. You know that the aeroplane was inspired by lazy people, people that could not think about traveling on horses back for months from one part of the continent to another. Many more things in our time, they were invented by lazy people. People who sat down and asked critical questions, and they became analytical, and eventually they brought about innovation. So, one of the things that makes you stand out in today's highly competitive workplace and marketplace is analytical thinking. As said, analytical thinking will give you a competitive advantage at the workplace or the marketplace. And I've been thinking about the enemies of analytical thinking, the things that stop people from not being very analytical. Number one, noise. A lot of people are surrounded by a lot of noise. It could be music. It could be conversations, unending conversations. It could be television. It could be radio. And it could be any other noise around you. With so much noise around, you have no time for introspection, meditation, retrospection, consciousness, awareness, and deep thinking. The second thing that really stops people from being analytical in their thinking is poor time management. You see, when you are always in a hurry, when you have to catch up with things all the time, there is no room for thinking. And therefore you have a lot of rooms for mistakes. You can't see really things in the right perspective when you are always in a hurry. The third thing that makes most people not being very analytical, therefore missing great opportunities and great openings around their life. You know, they are right in the midst of some great happenings, but they have no idea that the happenings are happening. Is just being disorganized. When your life is so disorganized and you are all over left, right, center, you can't think straight. You can't think straight. So analytical thinking is a skill that makes you stand out. It fast-tracks your growth. It lessens the burden. It makes your life and your career easy, and it transforms you to full potential faster than any other thing. I was once asked if there are means and classes to teach people how to think. When it comes to thinking, what kind of tools do people need or require in order for them to start thinking analytically? Well, there are many tools. There are many tools that can help you think and be a little bit more analytical and be able to see what the average person is not seeing. and be able to advance where other people would not dare advance, and be able to do what other people would not even know it was possible to be done. So one of the tools I've come across over the years is a tool known as ERIC. In fact, it's a simple tool with the name of an individual, ERIC, so it's a name that you can always remember. A thinking tool, which is an acronym. E simply stands for eliminates. R stands for reduce. I stand for increase. And C stands for create. You know, sometimes you can ERIC your life. You can ERIC your business. You can ERIC your career. You can ERIC your relationships. You can ERIC even your health. You can ERIC everything. It's a powerful thinking tool where you ask yourself questions like, what are the things that I need to eliminate in my life or in my career or in my business? The brutal fact that I need to confront, to be bold enough and eliminate. Then you can also ask yourself questions like, okay, what are the things that I need to scale down? Well, maybe I'm majoring on minus. I'm putting in a lot of energy, a lot of input. I'm really wasting and spending so much time, but the output is not commensurate to the investment and the sacrifices, the things that I need to reduce. And then you can ask yourself things like, what are the things that I need to increase? What are the high value priorities? What are the high value goals, what we call the widely important goals? Not the pretty important goals. There are two kinds of goals. There are pigs and wigs. Pigs are pretty important goals and wigs are widely important goals. What are the ones that I need to give more priority, more attention, more input, more effort and more sacrifices? And then C, lastly, is about creating. What are the things I need to learn from others, to borrow from others? What are the best practices I need to embrace? What are the trends and the patterns that I need to follow that are really futuristic? So ERIC is one of the simple thinking tools I can introduce to you tonight. And I challenge you to ERIC your life, to ERIC your career, to ERIC your business, and to ERIC your future. Tonight, we'd like to add a new segment. A new segment is called Ask Pepe, where I'll be receiving questions from you every week and I'll be answering them. Kindly, I'd like you to follow me on social media. My Twitter handle is @Pepe Minambo. You can drop your question there and we'll be able to answer your question in our next episode. I received many questions and I'd like to answer one particular one. And the viewer asked the question as follows. What are the emerging skills and trends in my industry? And what can I do to stay ahead of the curve? This person is from manufacturing sector. So they're asking, what are the emerging skills and trends in my industry? And what can I do to stay ahead of the curve? That's where analytical thinking and innovation come really to play. So, to know the emerging skills and trends in your industry, the first thing I want to challenge you to do is, why don't you subscribe to some of the leading publications in your industry? Reading. You see, reading fuels analytical thinking and innovation because you have to know. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, they say a leader must know. He must know that he knows. And he must make sure that everybody around them knows that they know. So you must seek for knowledge. So subscribe to any publication that is very respectable within your industry. And then another thing you can do is go and visit bookshops. You can visit them locally or you can visit them online, just to search for the new emerging concept and perspective and insight and knowledge within your sector. Then number 3, maybe you could try to be close to some of the leading figures in your sector. You know, this captain of industry, attend, event, attend forum, just to know and to learn what's happening in your space. So it takes someone that really asks critical questions, someone that really think analytically, someone that is in search of new ways of doing things and knowing things to get ahead of the curve or to catch up with the skills and the trend in their industry. So I will challenge you, the first port of call is subscribe to your industry most progressive publications so that you are kept in the know of the emerging skills and trends. So I encourage you to send your questions. I'll be so glad to be answering your questions week in and week out. And as you attend our forum at Golf Course Hotel on the 8th of July, you will get more answers of questions that are not being asked here. So we have a date. Save the date and see you on the 8th of July. I thank our sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Centenary Bank, our bank, and Pepsi Max. We are coming to you all the way from Lake Victoria Serena Golf Resort and Spa. Until next time, be inspired before you expire. Good night.